Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So today I'm talking to UEA's head of football, Paul Neary, and his assistant, Ray Harrison. We're going to be discussing some of their favourite games in charge in their 2 years. So first of all, gents, Ray, if we could start with you, I wanted to ask about the Senior Cup game this season at home against Norwich United. If you could just tell me about what you remember about the game and about the day as a whole, really.
First of all, very exciting day. Leading up to it, 2 weeks prior to that, lots of planning from Paul and myself and the players as well. Just very exciting day. From us, I think there was not a lot of pressure on us. We were just going to go out there and enjoy the occasion. If anything, it was more pressure on the higher league. We had a plan, we set out, and we executed it really, really well. So, all in all, a very, very good day.
Mm-hmm. And Paul?
I never thought we would get beat, which might sound a bit out there or a bit big-headed or whatever. But from playing them previously, and from obviously you go watching them and things like that, we were 99% sure how they were going to play. And then from that, we worked really hard in detail to make sure that we could counteract it, but then impose ourselves at the same time. And when you see the lads put into practice what you're trying to get across, we look good. We look good in training. We look good in the gym. We look good in the classroom. We look good in the dressing room before the game. And for me, the first 15 minutes of that game set down the marker that they would have to perform, as in Norwich would have to perform. And whilst they upped their game, I don't think they were prepared for us. I think we prepared better than them, and that's why we won.
When you're approaching a game, when you're playing a team who have got some quite imposing players, Norwich United's wingers, their centre forward, for example, say Peyton Swatman with Yarmouth as well. Do you approach those kind of games differently when you've got a star player or star players that you have to watch out for?
No, because I think we've got star players as well. I think we've got very good defenders to deal with, as it's proven. Your likes of that, Great Yarmouth. I think we have very good fullbacks who could deal with Norwich United's wingers. We practiced what we were going to do, and to a T, they did what we'd practiced, and what the messages that we were given were constant from us too. Going into it, they buy into it, and they put it into practice. So I think they are good players, Norwich United and Great Yarmouth, but equally so, we've got players playing below potential where they can get to. So I think to a man, we are equally as talented as them. I think as a squad or a team, that's where we win our games.
And Ray, then moving on to the FDC in the next round, of course, UEA against Great Yarmouth. If you could tell me a bit about that and how you found that.
Perhaps the same as the Norwich United game, really. Going on to the previous question that you just said to Paul, or you asked Paul, we can't go into a game worried about other players, how they play. Obviously, we got to know how they play, and we set up and adapt to it. But you should never go in. You should never go in worried about who plays where, who's the best player, what they're going to do. Because if you go in like that, you set all the wrong signals out to our players. So we've just got to concentrate on our own game, our own players, individually as a team, and all the way right through to the management. We know what we can do. We're very, very good at it. So as long as we stick to our own game plan, I've got no doubt that we're going to win a game. And the same with the semi-final against Yarmouth. Exactly the same setup as against Norwich United. We went out there thinking that we were going to win, and we did. So, like Paul said, we don't want to be big-headed about it. We've got a really good group of lads. So, and the whole team as a whole, we plan properly. We look professional. We plan professional or as best as we can do, and we go out there the day with a game plan, and we execute it as best of our ability. So,
and I suppose Ray as well, for a penalty shootout. What are you like during a penalty shootout? Do you get nervous? Do you watch the penalties? What are you doing while the shootout's happening as a coach?
We know, me and Paul know, the ability of what Tom can do in goal. He's got a save in him. It's previously discussed. We know technically our players are very good at penalties. However, I'm a nervous wreck. Paul's, as cool as a cucumber. We do stand away from everybody else. I think that's purely so I don't make the players nervous, because I'm a nightmare, if I'm going to be honest. I say, oh, he's going to miss this. No, we've got this in the bag. Or, he's going to sky this or whatever. I don't know, but I'm horrendous, and I got to be honest.
To be fair, mate, you called that one at Yarmouth, didn't you? The one that cleared the entire county. You called that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I could see he was set up wrong. I could see his run, the way he was standing. It just didn't look right, and I said that he was going to miss it. But yeah, I'm horrendous. I feel like I've aged about 30 years, bearing in mind I'm like 90 as it is. But yeah, I definitely age when it comes to that. But yeah, he's the cool one, and he keeps my feet on the ground. Let's just say that.
Well, you agree with that?
Cool on many levels, I'd say.
For both of you, really, have you been involved? What's the biggest, before UEA? What's the biggest penalty shootout you've been involved in? Or were you involved at any at Ely or Downham or United? Are there any particular that stick out in your mind?
Not that I remember. Not really. I think. Oh, we had. I'll tell you what it was. Penalty shootout for the CD Cup run with Downham when we got through to the final. We were playing Swaffham, weren't we? In the third round. We were at home, 2-2. Went to penalties. 1-5-4 on penalties. Yeah, 5-4 on penalties. Pat Yates scored in our fifth, our winning penalty. Really good.
Yeah, so just going back to that Yarmouth game again, like Ray was saying, you had a game plan, executed it well. Paul, have you got anything to add about that night as a whole?
I actually thought that Great Yarmouth were the underdogs in that game. I didn't think we were. I thought player for player we were better than them. I thought it would be a physical battle from them, but I thought technically we were superior to them. And for long periods of the game, when they got the ball down, we started playing our own game. I don't think they got near us. Their goals came from crosses, a free kick in the corner. Ours was a wonder goal, wasn't it? Goal of the decade. And then our second one was a good movement from Luke Young to get it at the near post. So, I felt that we were going to win that game, especially with the men's semi-finals we've played in a short period of time. And I think it was that our fifth semi-final? I think was that our fifth?
Yeah,
Mummery Cup, Fox Cup. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, whatever it was. So yeah, no, I thought. I was, again, you sit in the dressing room, you look around at the players we've got, and we've got a very, very talented bunch. So, yeah, no, it was good.
And how much does having a big crowd help? Obviously, you had it for Norwich United, you had it for Kings Lynn at the FDC, you had it for Yarmouth at the FDC, definitely. How much do you think that lifts the boys, knowing that they've got all their friends in the crowd?
Gives you an extra percent, doesn't it? I think when they're on it and they're chanting people's names and stuff like that, and it's good. They're a force to be reckoned with, aren't they? It's get behind your team. It's the old thing, 12th man and all that stuff, isn't it? I think they were really good, really good.
Yeah, it is good because they've got their own songs for different players, haven't they? Which a lot of other teams actually don't have. Well, not around here anyway. So it definitely lifts it. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and I think they're well behaved as well. I think you've got to point out we've got a good group of lads girls who come to watch. I think that's important to add there.
So Ray, next up, I wanted to talk about the Mummery Cup final against Long Stratton last season. Of course, that was another big performance from UEA, taking it to extra time and then sealing the deal. What can you remember from that game? And
that was an emotional roller coaster again. Really, a hard, tough battle. The lads did really well. Once again, we didn't think that we were going to lose that game, but when it went to extra time, that was that was just something else. But what I would add, the thing that sticks out in my mind is the team talk. When Paul did the team talk in extra time, he said to the lads, keep standing up, stand up, look at them over there. They look knackered. And they were. A lot of them were sat down, a lot of them had their heads down, their hands on the knees, breathing heavily. Our lads were stood up straight, ready to go again for another 15 minutes each way. And that was the difference, fitness, mentally stronger. And that's what sticks in my mind is the 30 minutes in extra time. And we just rolled them over. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, we took them apart, didn't we? We are. If you're technically better and you're fitter, 9 times out of 10 you're going to win. So I think a little bit of psychology came in, didn't it? Because they were flat out on the floor, and I think we did the same. We did the same with Norwich United, didn't we? Stand tall, stand big and strong. Because the Norwich United were lied on the floor, weren't they?
Yeah.
And Great Yarmouth, as well. So I think mentally we did well there. But again, I back the lads, back them 100%. I think they believe in what we tell them, and we give them the ownership to go and put it into practice. So never really in doubt.
I wanted to talk about another team talk as well that you gents gave. One of the games I wanted to talk about was Caister at home in the league this season. 3-1 down at half-time, 10 men, looked pretty much down and out. And then we came back to secure a 3-3 draw. That's where I got that photo of Henry celebrating scoring the equaliser. A lot of the boys said to me afterwards, that was before I was involved, but a lot of the boys told me afterwards that your team talk in that game particularly kind of galvanised them and got them up for it. I just wondered, Paul, what you remember about that game.
We should have won that game. We hit the post in the last couple of minutes as well.
Mm-hmm.
We should have won that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's not to say nothing's probably best. Sometimes, and I think it was made clear, or what helped was when they were clean through, and the fella didn't shoot from 6 yards, and he crossed it to his mate who stopped running.
Yeah.
So we used that, or I used that as an example of they're taking the mick out of you. Next goal will decide what happens with the game. Go and fight. Go and be a team. Go and look. Well, we want to look for leaders on that pitch, and we ended up with 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much it. There was no ranting and raving, no shouting, nothing like that. Don't do that anyway, really. But
yeah,
it was more of getting them up for it, really, just by telling them that, from what I remember. It was never in doubt, really. And I think a last minute goal to come back like that, back in the changing room after, that gets you another 3 wins throughout the season.
Yeah.
Going back to that game's memories, really, and what it feels like in the dressing room afterwards. So.
Yeah.
It was that. We were again. We were better. We played better with 10 men than we did 11. But it was a great performance, and another good UEA performance, I think.
Yeah, and also the difference was as well with that is was saying, you lads live together, you work together, you go out together, you train together, you breathe together. You're one big family. So, you go out there second half, just don't let yourselves down. Just look after each other. And what Paul's ethos is hard work over lazy talent. And we have not said that in a long time. And I do recall him saying that again. Hard work over lazy talent, and look after yourselves. One big family. Go out there and just relax. That the emphasis on them to finish the game off, not us. Let's just us play our own game. So, yeah.
And we should have won. We absolutely should have won that.
So next up, I wanted to ask about a game, Paul, that you mentioned to me. It wasn't one I went to. It was last season. Don't know why I missed it. It was away at Bungay in the league. And I remember I spoke to you after the Murray Cup final, and you pointed that out as a particularly important game, which I thought was quite strange at the time. But thinking about it, it was actually a crucial game in the league season on the way to winning Division 1. I wonder if you could just tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, that 1 point won us the league, that. Because at the time, Bungay could have got promoted. Munford could have won the league, and they came to watch. They stood behind us, if you remember. So it was another last-minute goal, 93rd minute, I think. But I think how we went about the game was fantastic. Again, we were the better side, but we changed formation in the end. We ended up playing a 2-4-4 with Big Rich Black up front. We gambled. What always work? You'll get caught on the break or whatever. But we took a gamble, and it paid off. But again, like what we were just saying before, the changing room then puts us on a higher level again. Because it's something that we all bought into. We all worked to the same end product, and the reaction of the players was superb. But by putting the 2-4-4 formation in was out there, wasn't it? But at the same time, we got a point and subsequently won the league by a good distance. But that's what it was. We were losing. You might as well concede 3 than 2, weren't you?
Yeah.
Let's go get something out of it, and we did. We really did, and we hit the post in that game late on as well.
Yeah.
Or before we scored. So we should have actually won that one too. But I think a calculated risk, I think, is what you could call it. But again, Tom's good at one-on-one. If they break through, isn't he? There's a fair chance he'll save it. There's a fair chance with the speed that we had on the back too that they get back and defend it well. So it was, like I say, it was a gamble. But it's good, and scoring in the 93rd minute was something else. Absolutely something else. That was Bungay's season over. That killed Bungay off. That did. It's hard to pick yourself back up, but for us, we'll keep going. And I think other teams seeing the results come in are already beaten before the players.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you, especially now, and we need to build on that after the cup final, senior cup final. But it stems from that Bungay game. It really does.
Right.
In a nutshell, not a lot really can add to that. I do remember the gamble. It's 15 minutes to go. Paul changed it, put Richie Black up front, like he said, and went 2-4-4. And I don't think the other team could. Well, they didn't react to it. They couldn't. They just couldn't get out of the box. It was just attack after attack after attack.
Bad, didn't we? And you're right. It was for a good period of the game. It wasn't like a last minute thing. It was a full 15 minutes. Let's go win, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was just it was superb. And the players instantly reacted to that as well. It wasn't like what we're doing. It was just they just don't. And to be fair, they don't anyway. They did it, reacted to it, and they just couldn't contain us. It was just we were like Paul said, we were lucky not to win that. I mean, they had a good fan base. There was a good 60, 70 people there watching.
Yeah,
and you could hear the comments behind us. They were giving it, we're going to lose this, we're going to lose this. Even they thought they were going to lose it, and they were lucky to end the game 1-1 really. And like I say, either way, 1-1, we win the game. We were proud, and that turned the season, and that emphasised where we are now really. That build the stepping stones, and then we haven't looked back. So
no, it was good. Yeah, absolutely.
So in terms of making that decision, making that tactical change in a big game, what goes through your head, both of you really, as a manager, when you realise your back's to the wall, you've got to do something? Can you sort of explain that kind of decision-making process just when you're on the touchline?
I don't know. I think it's what you see at the time, isn't it? To say, oh, we'll play with 2 defenders and 4-4. It was actually a 2-2-6, really, wasn't it? To say that sat here now sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? But it's what you see. It's what's happening at the time, isn't it? And if we do that, then what does the other fella do? And I dare say the other two in the other dugout perhaps don't have what we've got. So, and you've got to be brave to do it, haven't you? You know, you've got to be brave, and don't really be afraid of it. You know, so I think that's what goes through your heads. And you know, if it doesn't work, well, at least you tried, didn't you?
Right, there must have been situations as well in your career where you had to make that call.
Yeah, it's good to have a good partnership though, and that's where I'm lucky to work with Paul. And we've got that bond. We know what each other's thinking. If I'm watching one player, he's watching another. We're constantly chatting on the sideline. I come up with ideas, he comes up with ideas, and then we're always changing it in ideas in our heads. It never stops, you know. And that's not when we're not kicking a ball or headering a ball. So yeah, the players think they work hard. Bloody hell, we work hard, I tell you. And then yeah, that's how it happens. 90% of the time we go with Paul's idea. The other 10% we go with mine. So, but it works. You know, it's really good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so the next game I wanted to ask about was Kings Lynn in the Senior Cup, of course, at the FDC. For a lot of people, I think that was the game that put UEA on the map, really, in local football, in terms of obviously getting to the quarterfinals of the Senior Cup, huge crowd, a lot of students making a lot of noise down there. Yeah, Paul, really, if you could just explain what that meant to the club and what you can remember from the evening itself.
Yeah, remember it really, really well. Again, same sort of things. It's the same answers as your Great Yarmouth, your Norwich United. It was the detailed planning. This is what they're going to do as best as we can gather. How do we counteract that while still causing our own problems? Into the players, prep the players, and then it's, you know, go and play. I think we cleared one off the line. Did they hit the post? I think they might have hit the post.
Yeah,
I think they might have done. Well, we definitely cleared one off the line. Other than that, I don't really remember thinking they're going to score here. Whereas, like I said to you, we have a very, very talented, what we did then, have a very talented team. Now we've got a talented team that's had 2 years developing. So we're in an even better position now. But I think that game gave us belief in, or gave the players actually, and the staff around the university actually, they do know what they're doing. And we have got the capability to beat these teams. Is it a one-off, or is it, you know, was that just like a fluke game, really? Well, actually, you know, we could be here for however many years, and based on what we've done then and what we've done now, it's obviously progressing, isn't it? So I think it's a case of never standing still and moving on. But it was definitely one of the foundation games for us to believe where we can actually get to, you know. But that was the first of 3 Thurlow non-plus teams that we've beaten. And then I think we beat 5 teams from the Premier and Comprem when we were in Division 1 in order to get to the cup finals. So, yeah, I think you play with a no fear and a sheer belief that we are better than what people think. But obviously, we'll keep that internally, really. And I think that's what we do well. But yeah, Kings Lynn was a not a turning point because we knew we were going, but it was definitely a marker to what we can achieve, I think.
And the more...
Rich Black scored the goal there. It was Rich Black's header, wasn't it?
He did. It was, yeah, it's from a corner. Rena put the corner in. Everyone was scrapping.
Yeah, they all count, don't they? I'll tell you this though. My wife followed out their chairman, right? And he was with whatever coach it was, and he was giving the coach an absolute roasting, saying he was embarrassed. He was embarrassed that we were better than them, we were more competitive than them, we were more innovative than them, we were more just all round better, and he wasn't happy. So if we can do that to a team like that, then sky's the limit, isn't it?
Yeah. Ray, what can you remember from that night?
Just to emphasise on what Paul said, really. Like we went out with their game plan again. Sky TV were there. They were obviously filming the keeper at the time, who's the assistant manager of Kings Lynn first team, because he beat Peter Schultz's record. So it was a showcase piece, really, for Kings Lynn itself. And the emphasis wasn't on us, and that's where I think teams make mistakes. They've got to start respecting what we're doing. Like Paul said, this isn't a fluke. We're in here for the long haul, and we're building something. We're building something big. The players believe in it, the staff believe in it, the fans believe in it, and we're going places. So we're not bothered who we play. We plan, like every other team should do. A lot of teams that we do play, not just Kings Lynn, the managers and the players need to start respecting it, because we respect all them. Our fans do. Our fan base is really, really good.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, sort of going on from Kings Lynn and the Mummery Cup final, etc., etc. How much? I suppose the more situations that you get in, like semi-finals and finals with the boys, the more that builds confidence and, I suppose, mental strength when it comes to playing in more cup finals. How much do you think that helps the boys, having been involved in so many big games over the last 2 years, Ray?
Any game that we go into, we've got to look at a fresh view on it. Yeah, we've won this, we've won that, we got to this final, we got to this semi-final. We can't be thinking like that going into a game. We can't. We start going into a game thinking what you have done, and all the success that you've had, then that's a downfall. So we can't be thinking that way, and we never have done, and that's I think that's our success anyway. So no.
But subconsciously, it must help the lads when it comes to a big penalty shootout or a big game.
Of course it does. But that's that's practice, isn't it? Practice to performance. Of course it does. It would any team. It give them a lot of confidence. But going into that team on a day and playing that opposition, we don't go in thinking of that. We just go in mindset of what we planned, what we prepped for. We don't think of past tense. We just think of the game in hand, and then we go on to the next game and the next game and the next game. That's all we do.
I think a lot of it for me is letting the lads know that they are better than the opposition. We've got better preparation. We're better technical players. We're better team spirit. They've got better. Me and him are better than the other two. We're just better. I think it's drubbing that into them, but then getting them to realise what we're saying on the pitch.
Question for both of you, really. When it comes to giving the team talk, obviously you both say something before the game or at half time, and then often you get the players to say something. I remember in that game against Caister, George said something to the lads, and so did Tom Kendrick, and obviously Henry says a lot in the dressing room as well. How important is it to get players talking to each other about the game as much as you talking to them?
Yeah, huge. Dressing rooms win and lose games. Can't have a good dressing room. Most important thing in football.
Every player needs to be a captain, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's voice is important. Everyone's opinion is valued. We've got it at the stage where if you don't do your non-negotiables with the players, then they've got every right to let you know about it in a constructive manner. So that's where we're at the minute, and it's obviously proving well, isn't it? It's a good thing. A bit of a culture change, I think, from when we first started. This is how it needs to be from now. So we change the culture gradually. You can't do that overnight. But no, we're in a good place. But I think this year is a big year for us, and I think we've got a very, very good chance of being extremely successful. So it's good, built on the foundations of the games we're talking about.
And last question, really, for both of you. Is there a special place in your houses where you keep your medals? You keep your Senior Cup runners-up medal and your Mummery Cup medals? Or just keep in a drawer somewhere?
We didn't get a Mummery medal.
Hang
Did
on.
you not?
Yeah, I was about to say that we didn't get any. We're still waiting on that. But I keep mine in a drawer because I haven't got a house like Paul's. Paul's got a mansion. I've got a council house. So yeah, mine's in a drawer. Paul's got his own like walk-in wardrobe. So yeah, whatever I've got, it just goes to his. It looks better.
Yeah, I house Ray's museum.
Yeah, it does.
My stuff goes to the kids. Oscar has all my X shirts and stuff like that. So yeah.
And you've told me before you have some. You keep newspaper clippings and things when your teams are featured.
Well, you know that because you send them to me. But yeah, I think it's nice to look back on when all this is finished and we've moved on or whatever. It's nice. It's nice to say, well, we've done. Well, to see how well we've done, and you know, I think people don't see how hard we actually work. People, you know, don't see me sat at my desk, therefore don't think I'm doing anything. But the reality of it is, you know, if we didn't, then we wouldn't win. You know, I think I speak to Ray more than I speak to my wife. Which, to be fair, I like it that way. But if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be successful. You know, I mean, we must clock up hours on the phone alone. That's why my phone bill's so high. And Adam, if you see this, we need mobile phones.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's true. If we didn't prepare, like to the depth that we do for every game, we wouldn't be successful. You know, and sometimes we have 3 games a week. Sometimes, you know, we don't get much time away from it. But if we didn't put it in, then we won't be successful. And we're not complaining about it because actually, it's a fantastic experience, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah.
So I won't change it.
Perfect. Well, I think that's everything for today. Paul Neary and Ray Harrison, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.